Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. It was only last week that we had some really sad news for the UK theme park industry when Dreamland Margate announced that the Scenic Railway will no longer be an operational roller coaster. I know a lot of people were devastated by the news, myself included, and unfortunately the sad news for UK theme parks does continue this week as another theme park has entered liquidation. I've got to say, it really does feel like quite a tough time for UK theme parks at the moment, and especially the independently owned parks, them family parks, them seaside attractions, and of course all the parks that are owned by different families up and down the country really do need as much support as possible in 2026, and I'll come on to that a little bit later in the video. But first, let's just talk about the park that has gone into liquidation. It is Brean Theme Park, located in Somerset. Now this is actually part of a wider resort area. There's actually been accommodation here since 1946. And yeah, Brean Leisure Park, as it later became, really started to grow throughout the 70s and 80s. Along with that, it wasn't just the fact that you could stay there for a holiday. You got the beach nearby, and then of course the amusement park that really started to grow and develop with lots of different rides and attractions over the years. We've been to Brean quite a few times on the channel, and it's always sad when another UK theme park either closes or goes into liquidation. Now it's worth pointing out, at this point, in terms of what's on the official website for Brean Theme Park, it does still state that the park is expected to open in March 2026. However, this could change, and the fact they've gone into liquidation over the past few days probably means that is going to change. So unless there's some kind of major restructures behind the scenes with the finances, you know, we could possibly see another park closure here, which is really, really sad, especially one with so much history that dates back initially to 1946. But of course, the actual site itself has really grown over the years throughout the 70s and 80s with all them different rides that came in. Now at the moment, as of 2026, there's a good variety of rides at Brean Theme Park, including 4 different roller coasters. The main attraction there, the star attraction that a lot of people visit for, is Astro Storm. This is a zero bob coaster, and it's actually really good fun. It's got a space theme, it's fully enclosed as an indoor roller coaster, and it actually used to operate as Space Invader at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. A lot of people have memories with that growing up, myself included. So it was sad when Pleasure Beach decided to remove it, but no, Brean Theme Park saved the ride. It had a full refurbishment, and yeah, put in a brand new building with lots of new theming around as well. So that is certainly the standout attraction there, Astro Storm at Brean. If the park unfortunately does end up closing, I really hope another operator out there saves that ride and it stays in the UK, because it's a brilliant coaster, really good fun, and would suit quite a few of our family-owned amusement parks, especially at the seaside here around the country. Along with that, you've got the Bulldog coaster. That was fully refurbished a couple of years ago. It used to be Crazy Loop. That's the ride just behind me there on the PC. And yeah, with that, it's a Pinfari looping coaster. Again, in terms of on the grand scheme of things, it's nothing really special, but it's one of them rides that, you know, for that park was a crowd pleaser. A lot of people were going there on holiday, going to the beach, going to the campsite next door, the holiday park, and really enjoying going to Brean to experience this ride as well. So as much as compared to a lot of other parks, it's nothing too special and unique. For that park, it was still a major ride. It got rethemed a couple of years ago. They relocated it next to Astro Storm and actually did a full refit of that, full refurbishment. So it will be sad again if we end up losing that ride, even though it's just a Pinfari looper. To some parks that would be a major ride, and it was the same for Brean. It was one of their major operational coasters, and hopefully still will be in the future. Along with that, they've just got a couple of other coasters. They've got a small Caterpillar, a pretty standard Caterpillar coaster that you can find at a lot of parks, and also a spinning mouse coaster as well. What actually makes Brean really special is the fact they've got one of the best dart rides in the country, one of the best ghost trains out there. It is pretty terrifying. It's Terror Castle. We've had numerous rides on there over the years, and again, it will be really sad if we do see this park close and lose another dark ride. So that's the current stage at the moment. They've entered liquidation. It only happened a few days ago, so in terms of more news, we haven't got it yet. Now you have got the caravan park next door, which is the Unity Resort. Now they are actually not affiliated anymore with Brean Theme Park. I think that separation happened many years ago from Brean into the history, but still it's effectively they leased the land out to them to operate the park on. So in terms of what's going to happen next, obviously there's a lot happening behind the scenes now with the liquidation. Fingers crossed they'll be able to resort finances and get this park operational at some point this year. The website still states the plan to open in March, but I guess we'll see what happens. It's looking doubtful, unfortunately, with this one. And, you know, I just want to say now, obviously we've lost quite a lot of UK theme parks over the years, and this shows more than ever that UK parks, especially them independent parks, family-owned businesses, really do need as much support as possible. You know, we've got lots of parks that we've lost over the years, so I just thought I'd put a list together, and it's not until you list these out that you realise just how many parks we've sadly lost in recent years across the UK. Most recently, last year in 2025, Oakwood Theme Park in Wales. They've been stripping back all of their rides over winter. It's pretty much just Megaphobia and a couple of other bits that remain there. What the future is for Megaphobia, we don't know at this stage. But yeah, that park, most things have now been removed and of course gone to other parks that are owned by Aspro. So as much as we still haven't had an official announcement about the park closing forever, it's certainly not looking likely that Oakwood's going to operate again. And Megaphobia, it'll be really sad if that ends up being demolished. You know, a wooden roller coaster, certainly not cost effective to relocate. Very doubtful that that'll happen, and it'll be really sad if we do lose Megaphobia. Coney Beach in Wales, that's another park that closed last year in 2025 in Porthcawl. We've been there a couple of times. It was mostly turned into a lot of travelling rides that came in every year, but still they had some permanent installations. I keep seeing actually that they've been stripping it all out over the past few months, and yeah, really sad that we lost, you know, 2 parks in Wales last year. Of course, the year before that, 2024, Flambard's theme park in Cornwall, they closed and a lot of their rides have been sold and removed now, which is really sad. A little bit of a gap here, but still, going back to 2016, only 10 years, Pleasure Island Cleethorpes, big family park, they unfortunately closed. And again, we had some really good visits to there over the years. The site's still not been developed into anything else either. I think that's the sad thing, when you can still see like what was there, like old buildings and everything are still standing down at Pleasure Island. And that's the case with a lot of these parks. Nothing's really happened to them since, which is even more sad, isn't it, when things are just left to rot and decay over the years. Along with that, Camelot theme park back in 2012 in Lancashire, that closed down. Made many visits to Camelot. They had Nightmare, a really intense coaster, and it was sad when Camelot closed. I remember covering it quite a bit on the channel when that was being demolished, and it was really sad seeing Nightmare just go to the scrap heap. Along with that, another Scottish park closed back in 2010. That was Loudon Castle. I only went there once, but still it was another park that closed. Going back a little bit further, 2008, Metroland in Gateshead. This was the big indoor theme park that they had there, and you know what? It was a great indoor park. I only visited a couple of times. Their signature ride luckily got saved in the UK, and that's actually operating at the Big Sheep down in Devon and known as Rampage. I did put an updated POV on from that only a few weeks ago, so check that out if you haven't already seen it. But yeah, that basically used to be at the indoor park up at Metroland in Gateshead. Along with that, another park that closed was Ocean Beach in Rhyl in Wales. That closed in 2007, and that was a nice little seaside park. They had some really good attractions there. Back in the day, it used to be a lot more kind of heritage rides there. They had like a water shoot and stuff. But yeah, I remember growing up going to Ocean Beach in Rhyl, and it was sad that that closed nearly 20 years ago now. And also a park that closed 2007 was one that was very close to my heart and also pretty close to where we live in Derbyshire. That was the American Adventure theme park. Had so many happy memories going to American Adventure over the years. The theme in there was excellent. They had some really big rides. Again, their main coaster, the Vekoma Boomerang, the Missile, did get saved. That currently operates down at Pleasurewood Hills in Lowestoft. But yeah, it's one of them, isn't it? You know, we've lost so many parks, and when you list them off like that, that's just in the past 20 years and major parks that have closed in that time period, which is really sad. And that leads me on to the final part of my story here, and that is that independent parks really do need as much support as possible in 2026 and beyond. Of course, we've got lots of family-owned businesses and independent parks out there, and this is just a few of them in the list. Of course, Blackpool Pleasure Beach, one of the biggest family-owned parks in the country, and really need the support this year. They've got a brand new big ride opening, Evictus, so yeah, go there, ride it, give the park some love and support. Poulton's Park, of course, course, they've been coming a long way the past few years with new investments. They've got Valgard, a big new Vikings area opening this year. Go down there to Portland, give them some love and support. They're investing millions and millions of pounds in this new area, and I really hope it pays off for them. The previous investments certainly have, so I'm sure this one will do too. Adventure Island, located in Southend, that's a family-owned park that have invested lots over the years. They're always putting in new things, changing the layout round, refurbishing attractions. It's a really good seaside fun park, so I definitely recommend a trip to Southend. They've also got some of the best opening hours in the country. They're often open until 10 o'clock on the weekends, so I definitely recommend a visit down to Adventure Island. You've got 4 Gulliver's theme parks across the country. Gulliver's parks are family-owned as well, for families, and they are fantastic parks. Of course, you do need a child to get into them. We did cover the 4 Gulliver's parks last year on the channel. We've got season passes for there, so we're going to be back at those when they open for 2026 as well. But yeah, the Gulliver's parks, fantastic little parks, always investing in new things as well, and really need the support. Fantasy Island in Ingomel, Skegness, another one that's family owned by the Mellors Group, and that is certainly a park that, you know, we've seen a lot of new rides and investment coming in recent years, and yeah, really need that support as well. It's at the seaside, it's in a great location. Fortunately, you have got Butlins nearby as well, and I really think that because Butlins is there, that helps keep Fantasy Island kind of ticking over as well, and not just Butlins, there's all sorts of other caravan parks around there, and that really does keep that park going. So fingers crossed for a bright future for Fantasy Island. But yeah, again, get yourselves there, and I'm sure they'll have new things for us to enjoy this year. Mellors Group have also acquired Lightwater Valley theme park in North Yorkshire. We've seen a sad decline, really, of Lightwater Valley. So many rides were removed. It turned into a park mainly aimed at little kids. But to be honest, Mellors Group have already said that new things are coming in. So I really hope that we see that, and that's the case. And again, they're going to need the support this year to stay alive. Of course, Pleasurewood Hills, that park in Lowestoft is one of them that has seen not much investment in recent years for new rides, but they have had new ownership now. They were sold by the Looping Group. They've got new ownership for this year, and yeah, I believe they're a Showman family that have took over the park, and there's new rides coming in. I've heard maybe a Ferris wheel, some other bits coming, so that's really exciting. And again, another park that really needs that love and support. You've got so many seaside amusement parks. Great Yarmouth Pleasure Beach, that's family owned. Joyland in Great Yarmouth. Lots of your piers and classic amusement parks out there. This really is a time, I think 2026 is going to be a kind of make or break year for more parks out there. And it makes me sad saying it, but I'd always rather be realistic. It is tough times in the UK right now for a lot of these parks and attractions. And of course, we're seeing that with the bigger companies as well, like Merlin. Of course, I've done a couple of videos about the situation at Merlin and Alton Towers over the past few years. But yeah, there's certainly, you know, it's a big time this year. 2026 needs to be a big year for these parks, getting out there and supporting them as much as possible, and especially these independent family-owned businesses that will really appreciate your custom and really appreciate your business. You've got to think there's these bigger companies out there that, you know, are going to survive. They're going to be absolutely fine, but it's these smaller parks we don't want to see us losing anymore. When you read off that list of how much we've lost, especially even last year, you know, losing Coney Beach and Oakwood in the same year, big blow for Wales and their leisure industry. Let's not see any more parks closed, please, and let's hope that Brean Theme Park can continue and operate into 2026. And if we get some more news, we'll keep you updated on our social media channels as well. But yeah, let's hope that we see Brean survive and come out of this kind of liquidation period that they're going through. I really do hope so, because it would be really sad to see another park close. But yeah, let me know your thoughts down below in the video comments. Did you visit Brean? Would you have visited? And that's the thing, you know, if you are in that kind of category where, oh, I wanted to go, but I never did, ask yourselves why. You need to get there and experience them parks, because you never know when these parks are going to close or if they're going to be there the next season. I know a lot of people unfortunately did that with Oakwood and Megaphobia. You know, a lot of people who watched the videos just never made that trip. You know, it was a long way, all the way down to Pembrokeshire, but it was worth it. And unfortunately, that park now, you know, is closed and you can't visit anymore. So if there's somewhere you want to visit, if there's a bucket list that you've got, get out there, experience it, and give them some support, because they really do need it. And here on Theme Park Worldwide, we've always covered a wide variety of theme parks. We're not called Theme Park Worldwide for nothing. If you've watched the channel for a while, you'll know that we don't just just have a big focus on the big parks. We like covering small parks, and it's actually one of my favourite things to do because you don't know what you're going to experience. Going to new parks, seeing new things, that's going to continue in 2026. Of course, we've been to all the parks in the UK, but we'll be going back to lots of small parks and seaside attractions and abroad as well, and covering the smaller parks along with the big boys like we always have done. I like that wide variety, and a lot of people have always said that their favourite videos are actually when we go to a small little park with quirky features and things that you just don't know what you're going to expect. So lots more of that coming up both in the UK and throughout Europe here on Theme Park Worldwide in 2026. Thank you very much for watching, and that leaves me with one final thing to say. Get out there and keep on riding. See you in the next video.